to control the sound issues. I hope you can all hear me very well. I'll introduce myself quickly. My name is Anna Martin, and I teach Latin, mostly online, but also in person in Southwest London. And today I'm going to have a quick chat about dictionaries for beginners. Now, this is one of the questions that I get asked most often by parents or beginner learners. They want to know, oh, which dictionary should I buy? We've just started Latin. It's very exciting, or we've just started Latin and we're terrified. What dictionary should we get? Now, I do have an answer that many people don't want to hear. And the answer is you don't need to buy a dictionary. I know that it's lovely to buy a dictionary. And you can buy a dictionary for purposes other than supporting the learning at the very early stages. Why am I saying that? I am saying that because most dictionaries have great potential to be very, very confusing for students. Because when you start learning, you follow a course, and that course chooses very carefully which words are going to be used. It also chooses very carefully when and in what context. And so you don't need all the definitions of every single word you are going to come across. That's what I say. Yes, you're starting to learn the language. Yes, you want a dictionary. No, don't spend money in a very large dictionary because you don't need that. Of course, you can do it out of curiosity. I do read through dictionaries. Lots of us do that, and that's perfectly fine. You can also go to the library and start looking at the different types. But if you are a beginner learner and want to know where to find the words when you need them, the answer is in the very same book you are using. Let's take, for example, the book I use with most of my beginners at the moment, which is Suburani. Suburani has a lovely glossary. We could call it glossary. It's like a dictionary, vocabulary section at the back. It's very short. And when you look at the word, you're going to get exactly the definition that you need. Also, you're going to get the grammatical information that you can take in at this moment in learning. And what's more important, for example, if you're using Suburani, you will be used to having macrons, you will have them there. Also, you will have a little explanation on how to use that particular dictionary, and there will be no surprises about different types of abbreviations that you can't read. This becomes even more important when you start thinking about not Latin to English. I didn't specify that earlier, but I was referring to Latin to English, but English to Latin, because then you can have a large amount of constructions that you are given as suggestion, and it is very difficult to manage. Now, if you are listening, it would be lovely if you say hello, and if you have a favorite dictionary, why not pop it in the comments? I always love to hear what people have to say. I don't know, maybe somebody will say, no, you need a dictionary. Well, I love to hear that. So I've shown you Suburani comes with its dictionary. I'm not going to go through all the dictionaries one by one because we would be here forever. I'm just going to give you examples. For example, if you're doing Latin to Common Entrance, it also comes with its dictionary. And the beauty of it is that, for example, the English to Latin will be one page and a tiny bit. The Latin will also be very simple, exactly what you need. Some people might disagree with it. I think it's good. It doesn't come with a lot of information about the grammar behind it because that's in other sections, and that's fine. If you are using the Latin to GCSE, same thing. You don't even need to use the Latin to GCSE 1 for Latin to GCSE 2. Stay with your book. In fact, if a word is not in the glossary of the particular text and you need to look it up in the back, it's probably because you should know it already. You've seen it before, or perhaps it has a very clear cognate. Yeah, so if you're using this one, the only caveat with this one is the macrons won't be there. So I would say only use this one if you are translating from this book. The only one that can be a little bit tricky is Lingua Latina per se Illustrata. I use this very often with my students, generally as extension when we do like extended reading. But if you are using this one, be aware that the dictionary at the back doesn't actually have a definition, but what it does is sending you through the part in the book where you met the word for the first time. And it's initially, it feels like a long journey to get to the word that you're looking. But in the long term, if you look for the words like this, it's actually very useful because you will memorize them, you will remember much better because you will have to figure out what the meaning of the word is from the context or from the pictures. Now, imagine, because this is the next question people ask me. Well, yes, but sometimes I look for a word and it's not there. And also, I'm so curious, I don't just want to find out what words mean that are in my book. Then I would say, go online. Initially, go online. It is much easier. And today I will show you a tool that you can use very easily from anywhere. And it will also give you a flavor of what type of dictionaries are out there and what use you want to give to them before you decide which one you buy. This website is called Lexilogos, and it's not one dictionary, but it is collection of dictionaries, and they're all open access, which is great. And it has some which are perfect for beginners. I'm going to share my screen while I show you what the dictionary looks like. And again, this is not a dictionary itself. This is a page full of dictionaries. You enter your word here. You see I have put Puela here. We could put where. Well, let's go with, I don't know, we could put Dominos, whatever. And then you choose which dictionary you want to look it up in. So obviously Perseus, this is a classic. It has plenty of information in it. I would not recommend the dictionaries that Perseus has to be used at the beginning because it has a lot of information about authors and citations and use that you don't need. For beginners, what I would suggest is the Lat Dict, this one here. I think this is the easiest one to use for beginners of the ones you have here. And it's actually one that I have saved in my tabs in the computer, and I use it all the time. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Let me share that screen now. So this is what the LaTeX looks for. Let me see. There you are. So it's very, very easy to read. It also gives you sources from different dictionaries, and it won't give you an endless amount of translation. What I really like as a detail is that it tells you at what point in time it was used without having to know who the authors are that are being mentioned in the notes to the word. So very straightforward. It says where, at what time, how often. Yeah. So I would say this one is definitely one that you want to use in your everyday checks. Also, as you can see, it has English to Latin. So if I write girl here, I can very easily get the definition. You get Virgo. I would have liked to see Puela first, but there you go. That's why you would use the one in your book. Yeah, so you get Puela first. And having said all this, you can have plenty of fun with Lexilogos. For example, you have there a link to the Wikipedia, which is the Victionarium Latin to Latin, and I will show you what that looks like. So if, for example, we looked for Puela, there you are. You have everything in Latin in the Victionarium. You would have a picture of a Puela, and then the declensions, which if you're in Europe, it's a bit unlucky. Well, not in Europe. If you're in the UK particularly, or in Spain, it's a bit unlucky. The order of the cases is not what you expect. But you have synonyms, and you have a lovely definition. Where's the definition? There, femina in tenera aetate. there you are. But that, again, I would not recommend this unless you already know quite a bit of Latin. I would always go with, once you've learned the word, don't forget it. Say it again, use the same method, stay with a method, and then work from there slowly. I would love to know if there are any questions from those of us watching. If there are no questions, I would move to an actual dictionary recommendation. And you will say, wait a second, you said you don't need a dictionary. No, we don't need a dictionary. But if you must buy a dictionary, I don't want you to spend a fortune and then not be able to use it. So if you are to buy a dictionary, I would recommend, for a beginner, we're not talking about advanced learners here, we're talking about beginners, I would recommend the Oxford Latin Dictionary, the pocket one. It's very straightforward to use. It's by James Morwood. He creates fantastic materials. They are very accurate. They're easy to use. They're exactly what you need when you need it. So if you must get a dictionary, that one will be very helpful. And it's one that you can carry around, like, say, I don't know, you go to the cemetery and you see a tombstone in Latin, and suddenly you want to know what the meaning of the words are. And there's no internet connection, so you would use your Oxford Pocket Dictionary. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to leave it here. And I'm going just to let you know that I'm going to write a blog post about this, which is something I'm working on at the moment, dictionaries and how to use them and why not to use them. So this is something that you will see in my blog soon. You will have the information below me in case you want to look it up. And if you would like me to cover any topic of your interest, it can be pronunciation, vocabulary learning, reading with easy stories, I don't know, asking me why whatever sound is long in a word, whatever you think is worth asking, please do. And I will try to look at it. And if I don't have an answer for you, I'll find somebody to give you an answer. But we will look at it together. It was lovely being online today, and I'll see you next week again. Waletes, sodales.